No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the co-host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Return to Wrestling, that podcast where we tweak the circuits of time back to when sports entertainment was still called pro wrestling. I am your host, the Warden, Matt Ritter, and I am back, as always, with my co-host, Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, who has requested that I do all of his gimmick names, even though this is supposed to be an ambiguous podcast where you're not supposed to know when we actually recorded. So, Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. T-Bag, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC.
A.k.a. the newly unemployed. Yes!
And he is drunk already because he just got done recording a podcast, and now here we are doing this one. And for those of you who haven't listened to episode 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and this is episode 6, so you know what we got going on here. Travis has forced me to go back in time and watch old episodes of Monday Nitro. We are watching every episode of Monday Nitro up to a pay-per-view and including a pay-per-view, starting with the very first Nitro. We are currently in 1996, February 12th, right after Super Brawl, working our way through Uncensored 1996. And disclaimer, if you are a Hulk Hogan fan, this is not a podcast that you are going to enjoy because we do not suck Hulk Hogan's dick here. We do not kiss his ass. We do not sugarcoat things. Well, at least I don't, because I can't fucking stand Hulk Hogan. I will say I respect everything he's done for the business and all of the many things that the business has enjoyed thanks to Hulk Hogan's presence and what he brought and the notoriety he brought. But in ring, he is trash, and especially in 1995 and 1996, everything he's involved in is fucking trash. So we will trash the shit out of Hulk Hogan here.
But where we are right now is a stark difference from what he becomes later on in 1996, where he just becomes the biggest / best heel in the business. So we're getting there.
You say it's a stark difference, but in one of our previous episodes, we talked about Hulk Hogan dressed as Hollywood Hogan with the sword. And
that's not really him.
That was
a precursor, but that was not Hollywood Hogan. That was a precursor, but that was not Hollywood Hogan. When we get to real deal Hollywood Hogan, he is the biggest star / biggest heel in the business.
He was in Hollywood with Macho Man in a convertible. He did cut those promos with the sword, and it was all awful. And it was all the Dungeon of Doom. And Travis, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that this alliance to end Hulk Hogan, which is what culminates at Uncensored 96, which is what we're going to work through to, is about the end of the Dungeon of Doom. Am I wrong here?
Pretty much.
Okay. Because what we've done here is fuck copyrights. We've dubbed Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage the Mega Powers, and we're going to follow the journey to the reuniting.
Not necessarily fuck copyrights, because we can't really confirm or deny that WWE actually, or WWF at the time, actually held that copyright. What if they never bought the trademark?
That's true. But we're going to find that journey of those two coming back together, forming and being called the Mega Powers, and then taking on the Dungeon of Doom, the Four Horsemen, and some bonus characters that weren't worthy of making the original video game. So let's kick it off, Travis. February 12th, our very first opening match, we got the Macho Man versus Hugh Morris.
It was humorous.
You guys don't know who Hugh Morris is, and you should, because, you know, he was Goldberg's first match on Nitro and General Rection and
Phil DeMott, I believe, is his real name.
Bill DeMott.
Bill DeMott.
Yeah.
So he's not fucking Phil.
No, he's not fucking Phil. He's here taking on the Macho Man. He is, I think, still at this point part of the Dungeon of Doom, or he came in with the Dungeon of Doom.
Who cares?
Yeah. After Macho Man beats him, though, Macho Man lets us know that he wants Flair. Then we got Scotty Riggs before he became the One-Eyed Man versus Loch Ness, who is basically just
awful.
Giant human tumor.
Awful. He is the turd that was shit out by the Yeti. Like, that's really what it is. Like, they started with the Yeti, and that was shit. So they let the Yeti take a shit, and out came Loch Ness, and that's what we're stuck with.
At least we have, like, semi-fond memories of the Yeti. Like, we still talk about the Yeti's debut.
Do we really have fond memories, or we just remember him butt fucking Hulk Hogan?
That was a fond memory for me, Travis. I was literally just going to say, I really enjoyed watching Hogan get ass raped by the Yeti in the Yeti Big Show sandwich. Like, I enjoyed the shit out of that. But
Hulk Hogan still talk about the Yeti on live television.
This is already going so much better than yesterday. We still talk about the Yeti. He's had an impact. This is the first time, because I didn't watch any of this, that I've heard, seen, talked about, thought of the Loch Ness. Like, never mentioned. Not even a footnote.
Luckily, he doesn't last long, sir.
And he debuted at Super Brawl, and the very next Nitro, he's losing to Scotty Riggs.
Yeah.
We also have
males.
Yeah. We've also got a promo here with Ric Flair. He's got Woman and Elizabeth. He's on a gurney. They talk about how Elizabeth took half of everything the Macho Man had, and then helped Flair take away the championship as well.
And then took Ric Flair's dick.
I was going to say, this is really like the epitome of Ric Flair. He's fucking two men's wives.
Well, we really don't know that Woman is somebody else's wife on television, though. Like, we don't know that's Kevin Sullivan's wife yet. So it's just.
But in hindsight, it's Kevin Sullivan's wife and Macho Man's ex at this point, soon to be Lex Luger's girlfriend within a few years.
But also that's, Kevin Sullivan's wife, soon to be Chris Benoit's wife. So,
And then we know what happened.
Nope. Not doing it. Not going there.
So I have something saved that I'm going to watch this weekend. It's Autopsy of both Chyna and Chris Benoit. It was some special that I just kind of randomly came across that I'm really interested in. So it's an autopsy of Chris Benoit and Chyna, two separate episodes I'm going to check out. And as we've talked about, Dark Side of the Ring has that episode coming up with Chris Benoit and what went on with him. And that's going to be fucking amazing too.
Look at you, mister. This episode is supposed to be ambiguous as to when it happens, and you definitely just dated it right there. But
not necessarily, because those autopsy episodes are old, and I didn't say when the Chris Benoit episode was coming out.
Yeah, he said it was coming, though.
I'm coming right now. What does that matter?
Dude, I come constantly.
Exactly.
But, however,
let's move on.
Netflix also has this watch-along feature. You can do, like, the thing where you watch with friends, by the way. Did you know about this?
No, I didn't.
So, yeah, we should watch Netflix stuff together now.
Okay, we can do that.
There's an extension, like, with Google Chrome to where, like, you can sync shit up and you can watch things with people.
So I'd have to watch it on my computer, though. I wouldn't be able to.
I don't know. I just know there's a thing. I just found out about this last night. I may or may not have been drunk when I read it.
Well, we know, Facebook has that option too. Like in our group, we could do, by the way, facebook.com/group/Smack and Raw. We could start doing like watch alongs, and I could just post it and everyone in the group can go tune in and watch it and talk about it as it's happening. And
I know about that, but that's our videos though. Like that, we can't do that with Netflix.
I know. I believe like you can post like wrestling pay-per-views and shit. I think they've got a library of shit. I've seen people post full-on horror movies in horror groups.
Yeah,
and do watch-alongs for horror movies.
Yeah, but that's illegal. Look, we are not going to intentionally break the law here. We may bend the law sometimes. All right, we're not going to like intentionally full-on break the law, sir. Listen, look at this. You see me? I am black, sir. They will crucify me. We are not doing that.
They won't crucify you.
Oh, I bet they will. Anyway, move on.
What the fuck is Conan wearing, Travis?
It's a play on Aztec Warrior gear.
Listen. This is not Aztec Warrior gear.
I said it's a play on Aztec Warrior.
This looks like steampunk Aztec Warrior gear before steampunk was a thing, and it's early 90s, early to mid 90s. So it's all bright and colorful.
What I'm hearing you say is Conan's ahead of his time.
What you're hearing me say is that we here in America live on an Indian burial ground, and I conferred with the spirits of the Aztecs, and they told me that this is bullshit.
So here's the thing. I live in San Antonio, a.k.a. Mexico, where they make Aztec warriors, and they said it's cool.
We got Conan taking on Devin Storm. I don't even know who the fuck Devin Storm is.
It doesn't matter who Devin Storm is. He lost to Conan. That's all that matters.
We got some cool chair and stair spots from Devin Storm, but again, apparently not important.
Not at all.
Not a whole lot of chemistry in this match. We're going to see a much better match from Conan on the pay-per-view when we get to it.
Was this Nitro the one with the NASCAR guy?
It's not in my notes.
I don't know if it's going to be in any of your notes because it wasn't really an important part of the show, but them having the shit with him is probably the most 90s shit that I saw in these weeks where they're talking about they have a NASCAR car with their WCW shit. Like there's a WCW NASCAR car. And it's just like, that's the most 90s shit that I saw. Where they made such a big deal about it. The driver was there. He was ringside at the pay-per-view. It was just.
Fucking Phil, the Polish Hammer, our boy Phil Stosic, actually was a huge NASCAR fan when he was a kid.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
But what does surprise me?
Some fucking Phil shit.
Like he had NASCAR fucking pictures and shit up in his room. I never understood it. But what does surprise me is that you were such a big fan of WCW because, Travis, from everything I know about WCW and the fan base they cater to, I feel like you weren't part of that fan base. Monster truck fans, NASCAR fans.
No. I fucking love monster trucks. I used to watch monster truck rallies with my grandmother all the time. My late grandmother, who lived in Louisiana, that was our thing. We used to watch monster truck rallies all the time.
Because your late grandmother was from Louisiana. What I'm saying is a 30-plus-year-old black male from the south side of Chicago is not someone you would think would be really big into monster trucks or NASCAR or a product that was focused mainly around the South, monster trucks, NASCAR, and Southern activities.
Well, guess what? The person who was really into this shit when it was happening was not 30-plus years old. Okay. He was 10.
I was 10. I grew up in the same area. I had no, don't get me wrong. Except for the fucking monster truck battle on top of the building that led to the Giants' death/non-death. I thought the monster trucks were cool. That was terrible.
He died that day. But look, you are not going to shame me for being more cultured than you, all right?
I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying I was surprised that this appealed to you because it didn't appeal to me at all. And we grew up in the same area.
We did.
And I'm white, so.
We did.
In our main event, Hulk Hogan loses to Arn Anderson. Hogan's still doing his pirate cosplay here. So instead of Scotty Riggs with the eye patch, we got Hogan with the eye patch from the heel from Elizabeth. Hogan's mocking Flair, catches powder from Woman, and then Elizabeth gives Arn her heel. But Hogan removes his eye patch and takes out both horsemen and gets some help from Macho as well. And then they cut promos at the announce table, and they introduce us to, I don't know if I want to say this, the Booty Man.
Booty.
All right, we didn't glitch yet. So
yeah, we're still here. Booty.
Little inside baseball for you guys. Travis and I tried to do this episode yesterday, and as soon as we got to this part with the Booty Man, his internet took a shit. He called his internet provider. They fixed it. We said Booty Man, and it took a shit again, and we just called it. So,
oh man, we're still here. We're good. We're all right.
And if this fails, we're just gonna put up whatever we get done here tonight.
Yeah,
whatever. And we'll finish it at another point.
Exactly.
Because it's already better than yesterday.
Because we got further. Further.
Well, no, not yet. No, we're almost there. We got to get through February 19th, which is the following Monday, February 19th, 1996. We kick off the show in a rematch, and Arn Anderson defeats Hulk Hogan again. Arn Anderson has beat Hulk Hogan twice in 2 weeks.
Nobody's done it before, because this is the enforcer, motherfucking Arn Anderson, who, as you mentioned before, we were recording before, but they won't hear it. What you mentioned, never been world champion, but he beat Hulk Hogan twice.
Here's what doesn't make sense about this, Travis. Macho Man got in the ring because of Kevin Sullivan and didn't hit anyone, but they still DQ'd Hulk Hogan. He didn't hit Arn. He didn't hit Hulk. He didn't hit the ref, but they still threw the match out and DQ'd Hulk Hogan because Man was there for Hogan and he got in the ring.
Well, I mean, let me tell you. They were on TNT. So
TNT.
So basically what I'm saying is TNT gives you one of two extremes. Either you can walk in the ring and not do anything and not get DQ'd, or you can full on put somebody through a glass table and not get DQ'd.
I think what he meant to say was you can walk in the ring, not do anything, and get DQ'd.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Or put someone through. What do you mean put someone through a glass table? That was yeah. Sorry, you said
on
AT
on TNT,
not WCW. Yeah, that is correct. You can double arm DDT someone through a glass table and not cause a DQ, or you can step in the ring and do absolutely nothing and cause a DQ.
Yeah, TNT.
Loch Ness gets a win.
What does TNT stand for?
Turner Network
Television?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Because TBS is Turner Broadcasting Station. Or systems.
Are we making that up right now? Are we just assuming that's what it means? Do we know?
I'm assuming, I think.
So am I. And we're going to go with that. Turner Network Television is what TNT stands for. If we're wrong, let us know in the comments.
There you go. Let us know in the comments. Like I said, our boy Loch Ness comes back, gets a win after loss to Scotty Riggs. He beats Alex Wright, Das Wonderkid.
Who doesn't beat Alex Wright?
Disco Inferno.
Oh, he does too eventually.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then everyone. We got Fit Finley here taking on Brad Armstrong. Finley gets the win.
They call him something else, though.
Yeah, they call him the Belfast Bruiser. And he's got a mullet and a mustache, and I almost didn't know it was motherfucking Fit Finley.
Yeah, no shillelagh, no hornswoggle. How would we know that it's Fit Finley?
Fucking porn stash and a mullet. Like, he was incognito.
He was random 90s guy.
Our main event, Ric Flair defeats Macho Man.
Random 90s white guy. Get that straight.
That is correct. In our main event, Flair defeats Macho Man. Hogan tried to help, but Flair, Arn, Sullivan, Woman, and Liz.
Did he really try, though?
Hogan doesn't really try to do anything, Travis, but I got to give him some kind of credit at some point somewhere.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
His daughter from fucking a black guy. So I guess he does try.
Oh, man. I hope. Let me tell you. Yeah, I'm drunk as shit, so I'm going to say this. I don't care. I hope a black guy gets Brooke pregnant. Like, I really hope it.
And if you guys enjoy this conversation, you guys can go find Smackin' a Raw, episode 135. And on that episode, one of us raps about Hulk Hogan. And there may be a line about Brooke Hogan getting blacked in that rap. So if you haven't listened to it, you should go listen to it.
You should. And I'm taking it a step further that I say, I hope that she gets black bread.
Travis is all about the sex tapes. He wants to see them all. He wants them all made. He wants to see Brooke Hogan on Black Raw getting gangbanged.
And then find out later on that now she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm. We're still talking.
None of them pulled out, so now she doesn't know which black guy got her pregnant.
Like a butterfly from a cocoon, the Zodiac has transformed into the Booty Man.
Booty, 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 booty.
He is now on the side of Hulk Hogan, and as Travis made clear to me last night, something that I missed, he was always on the side of Hulk Hogan. He was a secret agent that Hulk Hogan planted
in as a spy, and he was a spy for a year. I don't know what he accomplished as that spy for that year, but he was a spy in the Dungeon of Doom for Hulk Hogan for an entire year.
Here's the thing. When I hear this, I feel like every shitty action movie that Hulk Hogan was ever in was written by Kevin Sullivan. Because this is the plot out of a shitty Hulk Hogan action movie where Hulk Hogan is the hero and he's got a best friend who's infiltrating an evil organization on behalf of Hulk Hogan. And then in the end has now revealed himself to be a spy near as cool as Hulk Hogan. He's the Booty Man.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't like Hulk Hogan movies?
I am going to tell you that Hulk Hogan has never made a good movie.
Sir, Suburban Commando?
Trash.
You don't like Suburban Commando?
Oh, no. See, Travis, you're misunderstanding me. I like a lot of things. It doesn't mean they're not trash. Suburban Commando is trash. It doesn't mean I don't like it. I like a lot of bad things. I'm best friends with you. I like bad things. Doesn't mean they're not trash.
The fuck? Are you calling me trash?
No, I'm not calling you trash. I'm just saying you're one of the bad things I really like.
I can dig that. Yeah, Suburban Commando, sir.
The only good
Three
thing...
Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
That was the worst Three Ninjas movie.
Oh, it was. It's absolutely awful. I just wanted to mention it because it's a Three Ninja movie.
They love recast.
Three Ninjas. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
You can't do that.
It is my least favorite Three Ninjas movie. But guess what? It is still a Three Ninjas movie.
The only good thing in film...
It's like pizza. Like, even bad pizza is still pizza.
The only good thing in film Hulk Hogan ever did was his small cameo role in Rocky 3. That was it.
Thunderlips.
And since we're talking about Hulk Hogan's movie career, we're going to get a little blast from the past from Hulk Hogan's movie career when we get to our pay-per-view.
Oh, because Debo.
Yeah. Because Zeus.
Or Zeus, as they call him in WWF. Or what they call him here? Gangsta Z or some shit?
Yeah. My boy Tiny Lister, Debo.
Yes, Debo, man. I don't care what they call him in anything. He is forever Debo.
Who co-starred with Hulk Hogan in the cult classic giant flaming piece of trash, No Holds Barred.
Is it really a cult classic?
People still talk about it.
What people, though?
People who like really bad movies.
I like bad movies and bad wrestling, too, but I don't revere that movie very much.
I will watch all day, any day, Travis, Ready to Rumble over anything Hulk Hogan made.
I like Ready to Rumble, though.
No, I do too. It's not a good movie, but I fucking love it. It's not.
Here's the thing. Ready to Rumble is a trash-ass movie, objectively speaking, but I will watch that movie every time I just happen to see it on television.
It's one of those things that's so bad it's good. Hulk Hogan stuff is not so bad it's good for me. It's just bad.
Except Suburban Commando.
No. We got to move on, though. February 26th, we kick off with Sting versus Big Bubba.
Because, they can't call him the Big Boss Man.
He's put on a lot of weight here.
Yeah, but he drops it by the time he comes back to WWF as the big boss man. So
yeah, and he's got the tactical vest, and he's eating he's feeding people their dogs, and
yeah, fucking with their father's dead bodies.
Sting wins that match. We got a WCW Magazine promo here. Ooh, wow.
Well, another one of those moments where I'm just like, yo, this is the most 90s thing ever.
This is the best part about rewatching these old Nitros is the commercials that feature WCW wrestlers that they still let be in the broadcast for old WCW shit, or like the hotline promos or the magazine promos, shit like that. That is my favorite part of all of this trash that you are subjecting me to.
And I will continue to subject you to this awful shit. And then you're going to get to the fucking awesome shit and you'll be like, okay, it's worth it.
I've seen the awesome, like,
no, you
not
haven't.
all of it, but
you
the most part.
You think you have. There are gems that you have not seen yet. And I am looking forward to you discovering these great moments in WCW history. They don't occur till the summer of 1996, but when they happen.
So this next promo is fantastic.
Guess what? I don't have a job no more, so we can record a whole bunch of these pretty quickly.
I know. And hopefully by the time you guys hear this, Travis has found some sort of financial aid or has got his OnlyFans up and running, and he's got used underwear.
I am selling hella dick pics and used underwear.
Used underwear, feet, and dick pics.
Yup. I'm about to change the game too. I'm gonna start selling tongue pics.
Short videos.
Yep. Just.
So we got this great promo here. It's the Road Warriors confronting Sting and Luger. Luger's so bad. He says, "We will pro wrestle you anywhere."
He's awful. They should never let Lex Luger talk, and they keep letting Lex Luger talk.
My favorite thing was the Road Warriors call Luger out for not really being from Chicago.
It's one of those people like, there's one of those, when you're from Chicago, like we call people out like, yo, if you're from the suburbs, that's different, but you're still basically from Chicago. But if you're like from Naperville, you can't consider that Chicago. Like there's a limit. Like Chicago suburbs are one thing, like, Dalton, Calumet City, South Holland, Riverdale, all that. That's technically still Chicago because we still all fuck around with Chicago all the time. But when you're from like fucking Naperville and shit, you are no longer able to claim Chicago. That's what they were telling Lex Luger. Like, dude, you are not Chicago. He's from like the north side equivalent of Naperville.
Like Highland Park?
Yeah, fuck them.
Luger doesn't seem to know what a Chicago street fight is. No surprise, because he's not from Chicago.
He's not from Chicago, exactly.
But you know what? It's on. We're going to have the Road Warriors versus Sting and Luger in a Chicago street fight.
Or will we?
Mind you, it's going to be a Chicago street fight, and it's not going to. We'll talk about that. Lex Luger then takes on the Dollar Store Warrior.
Hey, stop it.
Stop what?
Stop disrespecting the Renegade.
Travis
he tried. He tried. All right. It is not his fault at all.
We have this discussion every time we bring up the Renegade.
Leave him alone. It is not his fault. Stop blaming him for poor creative. He didn't do it.
Gilbert was more Goldberg than the Renegade was Ultimate Warrior.
No, he was not. Listen. I know how you feel about Goldberg, all right? I know you don't like Goldberg too much right now. So your opinion of Gilbert versus Goldberg cannot be compared to your feelings of
Renegade. They had
versus
about
Ultimate Warrior.
The same wrestling ability.
No, it is not the same at all. All right? Listen, I need you to move past your Goldberg hate for what happened to the Fiend. All right?
Here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do.
What do you need me to do?
You've been through a dollar store before, right?
Oh, more than once.
You've been through the dollar store toy section before.
Oh, I love the dollar store toy section.
You've seen the knockoff G.I. Joes and this and that, right?
Bro, do you remember, completely off the subject, but do you remember those little ninja toys that used to show up, they used to be in the dollar store that had like the detachable arms and shit?
Mm-hmm.
I bought so many of those. But anyway, go ahead.
So you know what I'm talking about, the knockoff dollar store version of popular toys, right?
Yeah.
You know they had knockoff wrestlers, right?
Of course.
Tell me with a straight face and dead sincerity that the Renegade does not look like a dollar store knockoff toy version of the Ultimate Warrior.
I have never denied that once.
Okay, because I called him the dollar store warrior, and you were like, hey. And
yes.
That's what he was. That's what he was.
But you still need to give the dude credit because he tried. All right. It is not his fault.
Do we need to give Baron Corbin credit for trying?
No, because Baron Corbin is shitty at everything. So,
but he tried.
Yeah, but if he's shitty at it, that doesn't count.
And the Renegade wasn't shitty at it?
He did the best he could with the material he was given, and I give him credit for it.
You can say the same thing about Baron Corbin.
Negative. Because even when he was giving good material, he was bad at that too.
What good material has he been given?
But the fact that he's been giving King Corbin.
And he did good with it until they brought in dog food. Neither here nor there. We're not talking about current product. Lex Luger leaves the ramp where he's conducting the interview with Sting so he can go back and make a full entrance.
As someone who needs to be introduced properly, I get it.
I know you do. He's out here with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy gives him the assist to beat the Renegade because he is not good enough to beat the Renegade without help from Jimmy Hart.
W's a W.
And then the Luger and Sting drama continues because Jimmy Hart's helping Luger, and why are you with Jimmy Hart?
W's a W.
We talked about this yesterday briefly, Travis, about how you keep saying W's a W and this and that and blah, 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 and how I'm basically Sting and you're basically Lex Luger. And you're proving my point tonight because I'm not Sting, because Sting refuses to accept Lex Luger for who he is and his flaws, whereas I have accepted you for who you are and your flaws. Lex Luger, on the other hand,
I have no flaws, sir.
You have a drinking problem. We keep talking about this.
Sir, I drink twice a week, all right?
A functional alcoholic.
I drink twice a week that you can prove.
That I can prove, yeah. And let's see, in a couple weeks, it'll be 3 times?
No. Twice a week.
So it won't be Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays?
No, there is no Westworld podcast happening, sir. So twice a week.
Why not?
Coronavirus.
Okay.
Corona fucked everybody's schedule up, so we're all fucked.
Well, I realize that while the coronavirus should theoretically free everyone up to produce more content, they may not be able to afford the app to watch the show.
Exactly.
To cover it because of it.
Exactly. See,
whereas I, on the other hand,
me right here, I will sacrifice to afford to be able to have that happen. Other people who are involved are not capable of making that sacrifice because of other circumstances.
Understandable.
No, it's more of a but honestly, it's more of a timing thing than a financial thing.
Okay. I, on the other hand, was given a note today that I'm supposed to show should the city be on lockdown. It's basically, like you get a doctor's note saying you have to go to work.
Wait, pause. You get a doctor's note saying what?
I said, how you get a doctor's note that lets you stay home from work when you're sick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the opposite of that. I got a note from work saying I have to come in. Fuck the National Guard. Fuck lockdown. I'm supposed to present this notice to them so they allow me to travel to work. I have to be in no matter what.
And the exact opposite for this guy who works at a fucking hotel who said, hey, everything's fucked. Nobody's coming to the hotel. All the check-ins we were supposed to have over the next 2 months, not happening. So everybody go the fuck home and stay there. You're on, what's the word they used? For Lawrence or some shit like that? Like
furlough.
Yeah, that shit. You're not laid off. So as soon as everything gets back to normal, you're all coming back. For right now, stay your ass at home. So they're giving me all my pay for the last couple weeks, plus all the PTO they owe me. So they're basically paying me to sit my ass at home. And guess what? I'm going to use that time to create more content for y'all because I love you.
And I will use whatever time I have to help assist. We got to keep going,
Will
Travis.
I pull my dick out? Who knows?
Please not on the podcast. Road Warriors defeat Harlem Heat.
Not tell me.
I said please. I asked. I didn't tell. I asked. I said
All
please
right.
don't.
All right.
I asked nicely. I said please. Magic word.
You're right. I will not pull my dick out and pretend that I'm putting it in your mouth. Go ahead. Continue.
The Road Warriors defeat Harlem Heat. This really is my favorite thing that they're doing right now. We got arguably the greatest tag team of all time in the Road Warriors, and arguably another one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Certainly the greatest tag team WCW had exclusively.
Yeah, that part exclusively, but arguably the greatest tag team of all time. Because we all know we had a full tournament in the Smacking It Raw Facebook group to determine the greatest tag team of all time. And guess who won? The tag team that Travis already told y'all was the greatest tag team of all time. The motherfucking Dudleys. Guess what? Pretty much every tournament we've done in the Smacking It Raw group, Travis has told Matt who the winner was going to be. And he refused to believe that I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Travis knows very well what wrestling fans perceive without a lack of logic or information behind to be the best of all time in a lot of scenarios.
Oh, there is no lack of knowledge behind the Dudleys.
To prove my point, I have
time.
talked about how WrestleMania 30 is clearly the worst WrestleMania to ever happen. And I've got people both on Twitter and in the Facebook group.
Is that the yes WrestleMania?
Yeah.
That's not
worst WrestleMania of all time.
It's been worse because guess
Travis,
what? We're going to get a far worse WrestleMania this year, sir.
No guarantee on that.
Oh, there's a guarantee. This WrestleMania is going to be worse. I don't care what happened because guess what? Who cares? Because more things happened after that. Yes, your favorite of all time lost to Brock Lesnar.
What Travis meant to say was, this was, in his opinion, the worst WrestleMania of all time because this show clearly is coming out well after WrestleMania. So we've already seen it and we saw it. I personally respect the WWE for the efforts they put into that 2-day WrestleMania event during the coronavirus. I respect them for
They
it.
need to sit their ass down, leave this shit alone, and stop putting their superstars at risk. But whatever.
Whereas,
do what you do. I'll still watch it, but chill.
Whereas doing the worst thing you could possibly do in ending the streak and almost sacrificing Bray Wyatt's entire career for John Cena to get a win. Negate. Dude, when that happened, I didn't even give a shit about Daniel Bryan. I was hoping Triple H was going to beat him, and he wasn't even going to make it in that match. I wanted Randy Orton versus that.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
You're back. Sweet.
Yes.
We got to move on because you just froze for a second. So before this gets off.
Yes.
Yes. Event was Flair, Arn Anderson, and Kevin Sullivan losing to Hogan, Macho Man, and the Booty Man.
Is this a strap match?
This is the match where Flair lets Arn Anderson get pinned so things can get kinky with handcuffs and whips.
So this was a 6-man tag, but double strap match. Like, they made this a 6-man tag, but there were only 2 straps. And there were also lumberjacks. Why were there lumberjacks, Matt?
I don't think that was this match, Travis.
Well, what are you talking about then?
It was a 6-man tag team match.
Oh, you're right. There was a regular 6-man tag, and then there was a lumberjack match the next week. You're right. I'll take it back. Continue.
Yeah. No, this was where they broke out the handcuffs and the whips after Arn got beat. Flair sacrificed Arn.
Is this the one where it took forever for Liz to get get Hulk handcuffed to the side and shit? They fucked up because Liz didn't know how to work handcuffs because her and Randy Savage never got that kinky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We open up the March 11th Nitro with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'll give it to Travis. He does it better than me. Losing to the Giant. For whatever reason, Pillman was at ringside. He got kicked out. They're doing this whole weird thing during this whole the Dungeon of Doom and the Four Horsemen, and like there's tension in the Four Horsemen between Pillman and Arn and Flair, and Benoit's a part of it, but he's never there. And then there's tension between the Four Horsemen and the Dungeon of Doom, and it's a lot of weird shit. The Steiners replaced the Nasty Boys on motorcycles.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Steiners replaced the Nasty Boys and keep going.
They come out on motorcycles.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. The LOD defeat the Steiners. We get a Scott Steiner promo.
So I don't remember because it's been so long since we've done these things. Was this the debut of the Steiners?
No, this was not the debut.
On WCW? No?
I don't think so, no.
Then why did they make such a big deal out of it?
I don't know, but I feel like we've seen the Steiners.
I thought so too, but as I'm watching this, I'm like, maybe this is the first time we saw the Steiners on WCW. Because I looked up when the Steiners debuted on WCW, and all I saw was 1996. I'm like, was it this week? I don't know.
Listen, if you guys want to know how Travis feels during an episode of either Smacking It Raw or Return to Wrestling, here's what I want you to do. Go to the March 11th Nitro. Find the Steiners Road Warriors match. At the very end, listen to Scott Steiner's promo and take a drink every time Scott Steiner says Road Warriors. By the time that promo is over, you will be
You're right, because he says it so many times.
You'll be on Travis's level. Let's put it that way. You'll know what it feels like to be Travis during one of our podcasts.
Oh, you still won't know, but it'll be close. You're right, because he says Road Warriors so much. And I don't think he knows what the fuck he's saying either. So yeah, you might be right.
Lex Luger defeats Das Wonderkid. And they keep talking about the Nasty Boys and how the Nasty Boys got, like, why do we care about the Nasty Boys? Why are they making a big deal about the Nasty Boys?
It's part of the Hulk Hogan clause. Like, you got to care about knobs. So, you know.
Yeah, Knobs, Jimmy Hart, and
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Brutus
And
the
Jimmy
Booty
Hart.
Man Beefcake. Oh, I said Jimmy Hart.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are his
they're
people.
all part of Hogan's. Those are all part of Hogan's contract, and they need to be mentioned and paid with as much respect as they possibly can during the show. Now, Travis, we can talk about your 6-man strap lumberjack match. And my favorite and least favorite part about this is they made all the lumberjacks wear flannel. Why is that not still a thing? If they're supposed to be lumberjacks, why are they not still?
Fucking lumberjack match or lumberjill matches they have.
I was going to say lumberjills too. Everyone in flannel.
Everybody should be wearing flannel at all times. I was so happy to see this.
Also, this is very topical because 96 was like the height of grunge music. So like everyone was wearing flannel anyway. So it made sense, but we need to keep doing this. If they're lumberjacks, they should be wearing flannel because in wrestling, we generalize. And as we generalize, lumberjacks wear flannel. So anyone pretending to be a lumberjack needs to be in flannel.
100%.
Why is the Giant fighting the Loch Ness? Why does the Giant not like the Loch Ness? What, they're supposed to be together? What is the problem here?
Well, the week before, remember, Loch Ness did some kind of thing where he tried to hit one and ended up hitting the Giant. And they got into a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. That's what that came from.
There's a lot of weird shit going on here. The Lumberjacks get bored watching the match, which I don't blame them because
they just started fighting each other.
Yeah, they're like whipping each other and shit. And then we find out Kimberly wants the booty man because
booty.
Little inside baseball here, guys. Johnny B. Bad is on his way to the WWF to become Mark Marrow, along with
man,
3-time Playboy cover girl of a wife, Sable, who will be debuting with the WWF. She did 2 singles and 1 with Tori.
She did do 2 singles. Okay, I didn't know she did 2 singles.
2 singles and 1 with Tori.
Okay.
Oh, I know my WWF Playboy trivia.
How many did Tori just do? 2, or did she do 3?
She did 2. 1 with Sable and 1 on her own.
1 single. Okay, got you.
And so did Maria, and so did Christy.
I remember Maria. I remember Christy and China. Right?
So did China. I think China did 2 actually.
Did China do 2?
I think she did 2.
I don't remember.
Pretty sure.
I only remember 1 China. You might be right though. I've been wrong.
Go in the comments if I am wrong, but I am 80% sure China did 2. And Maurice was in Playboy, but she was not a Playboy cover girl. She was just like she was in like a fitness like shoot off of Playboy.
Did
she
we
wasn't even
get
in the main
Maurice
magazine.
titty?
Oh yeah.
Like full on Maurice titty or just titty with nipple covered?
Maurice titty. This was before the Miz, before WWF. So we got titty and vagina. Not like Hustler vagina where you see inside it, but we saw lips.
Gotcha. You know my number? Send the link. And then I send The Miz a tweet like, I've seen your wife's vagina. And he'd hate that because, hey, he has a fragile ego because he's The Miz.
I didn't even get to read this because we got distracted. So Kimberly wants the booty man. And as I said, Mark Marrow's leaving. So they've decided to replace Mark Marrow with the booty man in that DDP Johnny B. Bad story.
Yeah.
Because apparently
we got no real transition there either. But go ahead. Apparently
being Hulk Hogan's bitch has its perks.
You latch yourself on to the right person, you still get paid.
No, it wasn't about getting paid. It was about Kimberly because I will say, in my personal opinion, from 1996 to 2020, I personally believe that Kimberly Page is the most attractive female to ever set foot in the wrestling business. She is now hands down my favorite during her time in wrestling. From rewatching this and looking at her, beautiful. I'm not talking hot. I'm not talking sexy. I'm not talking best body, biggest boobs, best ass. Just beautiful, beautiful woman. My personal.
I'll see that. I understand your personal preference, but I will raise you a Layla. But anyway, keep going.
Oh, she's hot too.
That's my favorite over the last 20 years. But go ahead, keep going.
Post-match promo. Arn is fantastic. He's really underrated, in his promo skills and what he does. Elizabeth looked very uncomfortable being in the ring with these guys, doing this whole thing.
With who?
And I don't understand. Elizabeth?
With who?
With Arn and Kevin Sullivan and Flair.
Yeah, I remember.
In the post-match promo.
I had to remember what was happening here. Gotcha.
I don't know why Kevin Sullivan's still a thing, but he is.
Well, because he's the booker, so he put himself in there. But we'll be rid of.
He didn't just put himself in.
Yeah, we'll be rid of Kevin Sullivan soon. We just got to get through this.
Main event after main event after main event. He put himself in the top spot with the top guy. Which, by the way, I learned something today. So, apparently, there was a planned program for Steve Austin versus Ric Flair.
Yeah, I heard about
when
this.
Hulk Hogan got signed, they scrapped that idea, which, in hindsight, led to a number of things that gave us Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is one of the greatest things to happen in professional wrestling. So it was a blessing and a curse.
No, not one of the greatest. The greatest. That gave us the Attitude Era. Like, listen. In the Attitude Era, there were Stone Cold guys and there were Rock guys. I was a Rock guy. But I will not deny that what gave birth to the Attitude Era and what gave us The Rock was what they did with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I will not deny that ever.
But we may have seen a completely different WCW if Hogan hadn't come over there, and we might have seen Stone Cold, or at that time, Stunning Steve Austin, elevated into the main event and competing for world titles against Sting and Ric Flair in WCW had Hogan never shown up.
However, there was also another scenario where I believe it was 95, where Dustin Runnels, a.k.a. Goldust, doesn't get fired from WCW and stays in WCW. We get a completely different look in WCW, which also leads to Stone Cold staying in WCW, where we get a completely different look at the wrestling business in general. There are a whole lot of weird things that could have happened in this time that because of, weird circumstantial shit, we get great things that have happened in the wrestling business.
Also, Goldust is arguably the spark that lit the Attitude Era flame. And if he had stayed in WCW, that never would have happened.
Exactly. And imagine, Dustin Runnels in WCW during the NWO's heyday as the natural Dustin Runnels. Woo! Anyway, let's move on with what we're talking about here, though, because we can go on like forever about this shit.
On March 18th, we open up Nitro. The Giant is beating up Loch Ness, and then Luger runs down to the ring and gets a count-out victory over the Loch Ness.
Why can't we just kill him and he actually stays dead?
He was supposed to be at Super Brawl in, I believe it was a War Games match at Super Brawl, wasn't it?
Who knows?
Where he debuted at the end. He was supposed to be this big acquisition that was going to be the next mountain that Hulk Hogan was going to have to overcome. He lost his first match, won his second. Now he's feuding with the Giant, who he's supposed to be on a team with, and he loses a count out, loses by a count out to fucking Lex Luger. So he's lost more matches than he's won.
Lex gets another W. W's a W.
The Mega Powers babble about Texas Tornado.
Yeah, who cares?
Bischoff calls the WWF the World Winding Federation because that wasn't petty.
Things that Bischoff did during this time to kind of undermine the WWF, all full-on petty. And I'm all here for it. I get it.
This is the go-home show, and there's not really a whole lot here, unfortunately, for the go-home show. 2 Uncensored. Yeah. We get Public Enemy versus...
This is a shitty pay-per-view. We go ahead.
We'll talk about that. Public Enemy lose the Steiners. Rocco goes through a table but doesn't break where he lands. Arn Anderson loses to the Booty Man, so he beat Hulk Hogan 2 weeks in a row. Now he's losing.
Buddy.
Kim comes down, and Nancy tries to shank her with a heel, but Booty Man stops it.
Who the fuck? Woman. Okay. I'm like, who the fuck is Nancy? I got you.
Nancy Benoit, woman.
She is woman right now. You don't call her
I understand
Nancy.
that, but it's hard. Like, I know it was 96, but it's hard for me to just call her woman. Like, that's...
If you do it ironically the way I do it, it works.
Okay.
There are certain people who I call women just to piss them off, and they know I do it just to piss them off, so they ignore me when I do it.
I feel like that's how Kevin Sullivan referred to her at home, and it just kind of stuck.
Well, here's the thing. You listen to Super Flashy every week. You've heard there are times when I call Mara a woman, and I do that just to piss her off. And she knows I do it just to piss her off, and sometimes she sells it, sometimes she doesn't.
But see, there's a weird thing where, like, 99.9% of the time I don't agree with that, but there's like a 1% time where people deserve it, and every time you call Mara that, she absolutely deserves it.
And that's the thing. When I do it, and people know that I'm just fucking with the person I'm saying it to. And so it works. But when you do it in a situation where it doesn't fit in context, I can see why people are like, yo, that's not cool.
So the Road Warriors defeat the Nasty Boys. The Steiners come down, but they don't interfere. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to have.
Have we heard the Steiner Brothers music yet?
I don't think so.
Yo, let me tell you.
They're still coming out in the Michigan varsity jackets with the headgear.
Yeah. In WCW, the Steiners are one of my favorite music. One of like my favorite entrance musics in WCW.
So we got this whole thing where Sting and Luger are champions, and everyone's kind of jockeying for position to face them. The Road Warriors being on top of that, Harlem Heat also being there. What we're going to get at Uncensored is we're going to have Sting and Booker T team together to take on the Road Warriors in a Chicago street fight in Tupelo, Missouri, because that makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
And if Sting gets the win, then Booker T faces, or Harlem Heat faces Sting and Luger. If the Road Warriors get the win, they get to face Sting and Luger. Weird, fucked up, like
very weird. But however, that gave us a better match. Because would you rather see Luger in that match or Booker T?
I would have rather saw Stevie Ray than Sting.
Well, yeah, but if given the choice with Sting and Luger or Sting and Booker T, who would you rather see in that match?
Oh, Sting and Booker T, 100%.
Exactly.
But here's my thing.
Here's the thing. Luger is trash. We all know Luger is trash. The problem is Luger had the look, so they kept putting Luger on TV.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
I don't understand why it was Booker T instead of Stevie Ray. They're like, why did we get the Devon Dudley of Harlem Heat instead of the Bubba Ray?
Are you saying that Stevie Ray is better than Booker T?
If you're saying that Bubba Ray is better than Devon, then yes, that's what I'm saying.
You disrespectful son of a bitch.
If it wasn't for Stevie Ray, there'd be no Booker T.
If there was, you disrespectful.
Stevie Ray was wrestling. Yes. Stevie Ray took his brother fresh out of prison and gave him a purpose.
Yes.
If there was no Stevie Ray, there'd be no Booker T.
Yes, but thing is, when he brought his brother in, his brother was better than him.
And then his ungrateful ass lost his T because Stevie Ray was the better one and he had that power. Booker T didn't take the Ray out of Stevie's name, no, but Stevie Ray took the T right out of that and gave it to someone else.
And guess what? Which one became world heavyweight champion? The one
Booker T.
with the T in his name. King Booker!
Yeah, the same guy that got his ass whipped all over a supermarket by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Doesn't matter. A former world heavyweight champion. 2-time Hall of Famer, sir. Gonna put some respect on that man's name.
Harlem Heat. No, actually, so, you know, I don't know if you know this, but they have that show WWE Backstage, and in it they've got promo school, and they let these celebrities come on, and they are challenged to cut a promo against Booker T or Christian or whoever might be there. And I always told myself that if I ever got popular enough to be on that show and I had to cut a promo against Booker T, I would refer to him as the Devon Dudley of Harlem Heat and say, why couldn't I get your brother, Bubba Ray?
Here's the thing. But your disrespectful ass. I would push you to get on that show, but I would use the fact that you were so disrespectful to get myself on that show. Because, like, what the fuck, you disrespectful motherfucker.
We end our show with the Texas Tornado match.
Let's not.
Arn and Pillman cause a DQ. Pillman's going fucking nuts.
Well, here's the thing. That's when they were doing that loose cannon Pillman thing, where they were planning on having him go away and him being like a fucking loose cannon in WCW. He goes away, builds a name for himself in other companies by being this loose cannon character, and they bring him back. Like, Bischoff has talked about this on multiple podcasts. So they had plans for this. Problem is, Pillman is Pillman. He did some Pillman shit and ended up dead. So,
or Pillman worked himself into a better contract and then a release so he could go where he wanted to go because he wasn't being used the way he wanted to in WCW.
And then still ended up dead.
And he had problems with Kevin Sullivan. But anyway, this is also where Jimmy Hart comes down. He brings Debo and Vader in camo.
That is the ultimate solution, sir.
Yeah, Vader in camo is the ultimate solution. I agree.
The ultimate solution is his name. That is not Vader. He's in way better shape than Vader was at this point.
Oh, whoa. Now who's being disrespectful?
What? Knowing that Vader was not in as good a shape at this time is being disrespectful? These are facts.
Ultimate solution ain't doing a moonsault off the top rope.
Exactly. He knew what he was. He wasn't trying to do that shit.
He wasn't even doing a Vader bomb.
And you called him Vader. So who's disrespecting who?
I said he's Vader in camo. In disguise.
So you called
as
him
a much shittier wrestler. He's in disguise as a much shittier wrestler.
Whatever, nigga. You got motherfucking.
I think that's the first time you've ever called me that on one of our podcasts. 3 years now.
Really?
That's the first time. Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I say nigga like 12 times a day. I didn't call you that?
No. And you normally only say it on Super Flash Arrow, and I think it's because Mara's there. And she says it.
You might be right.
So
anybody
Flair
listening
Sullivan,
right now, the Warden Matt Ritter is my nigga. Go ahead.
Arn, Flair, and Sullivan are in a promo, and they all just keep trying to get the last word in before they go off air, which was actually fairly entertaining. Like, they just kept taking the microphone and adding on and adding on. At some point, 100%. Arn Anderson just goes, "The Wolverine is back." It's just
like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I don't even think we were calling Benoit the Rabid Wolverine at that point.
Exactly. Like, are they talking about Benoit? Well, like, we don't see Benoit. And I'm like pretty sure we don't see Benoit and the Horseman for like another month. So it's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
So this is what we get out of this. Our main event is a 3-tiered cage. It has got the Arn and Ric Flair. It has Kevin Sullivan, Mang and the Barbarian. And it's supposed to have the Ultimate Solution and Debo. The Mega Powers are supposed to fight their way through it. Lex Luger's in there too. That's why he wasn't teaming with Sting, was because he was part of this with Jimmy Hart.
Well, he wasn't part of that match with Sting because of whatever Jimmy Hart did with his contract. And he put him in this fucking match. Like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
They call it the Doomsday Cage, and we'll talk more about it when we get there. But they're bringing in Zeus, or as they call him, Z Gangsta, or as we like to call him, Debo.
That's Debo.
They're bringing in the Ultimate Solution, which is just another jacked up non-wrestler, kind of like, well, Loch Ness isn't jacked up, but giant non-wrestler that's supposed to look imposing and be a threat to Hulk Hogan.
Just a big motherfucker. Yeah.
Just ridiculous shit. So, Uncensored, 1996. Eddie loses to Conan. This was a fantastic match. Travis, this match for the U.S. title, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't talk about this. Conan is the U.S. champion. I don't know if he's still the Mexican heavyweight champion at this point or not. They were billing him that way for a while. He did not have that belt with them. They did not talk about it. But this match in 1996 was an amazing match. It is a match that you could put on Monday Night Raw, on AEW, on SmackDown, or on NXT, and would hold up on any one of those shows today with all of the wrestling you see. This is what everyone you are watching now, wrestling, watched and learned from and emulated to make the matches you see today.
And here's the thing about this. You'll see in the coming times when we watch more of this stuff, more of this from Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Guerrero gave us so many classic matches. This one with Conan. He gave us multiple classic matches with Rey Mysterio. Like, it's just, oh my fucking God. Listen, his match with Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
7. Oh my God. Why is it that fucking good?
We'll get there. This is not a classic match. You know why this isn't a classic match?
Why is this not a classic match?
How did this match end?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Eddie Guerrero hit a Meteora, and somehow Conan headbutted Eddie Guerrero in the balls, and it's not very clear how that happened. And then Conan gets the pin from a headbutt to the nuts. Now, first off, it's a low blow. It should be a DQ. Right. Secondly, it was a great fuck. Oh, the ref absolutely saw it. He watched the whole thing happen.
He didn't see it as a low blow, though, is my point. He saw it as just a headbutt to the abdomen.
My thing is, but it wasn't even a headbutt to the abdomen. I watched it twice, and I don't know how this was a low blow. I don't know how this was a finish. This really just fucked up an amazing match because the finish was just what the fuck.
Also, Bischoff has admitted multiple times that their finishes were shit.
Yeah, no, they didn't have a finish guy.
Yeah.
We followed that up with another amazing fucking match. Yeah. We followed that up with another really good match that ends in some bullshit. We've got Lord Steven Regal versus the Belfast Bruiser. Or
two great, I guess you call them ground and pound guys. Or
dude, they beat the shit out of each other.
Yo, they are fucking great to watch.
These two matches,
great nuggets of WCW that people don't talk about. Go ahead.
These two matches are fantastic, and I recommend you go back and watch them. Just the first two matches, though. After that, turn the pay-per-view off. It does not get any better.
Watch it all.
These guys beat the shit out of each other.
You gotta watch this final cage match. Go ahead, keep going.
I don't know what the fuck was going on with Fit Finley at this point. You know, he came down with like the leather jacket with the one arm with the spikes, and
he was going through some things, Matt.
This match, unfortunately, ends in DQ, which sucks because, I mean, this was like a 15, 20-minute match, if not longer, and they beat the dog shit out of each other for 15 to 20 minutes. Like,
well, you know, Regal was you know, he was one of the carny folk, so they used to fucking each other up. So he just,
oh yeah, no, these guys are doing British strong style before the resurgence of British strong style with NXT UK and the movement for wrestling in NXT. Or in the UK over the last few years.
100%. For all of you who love NXT.
UK.
NXT, period, because NXT and NXT UK.
Well, the British strong style.
I'm not talking about just British strong style.
Okay.
So those of you who love NXT, period, NXT and NXT UK, guess what? Guess who you can thank?
Triple H.
WCW.
And Triple H.
WCW. Those of you who love those Adam Cole matches and, you know, Finn Balor shit, you can thank WCW and their cruiserweight division. Thank you very much. There you go. Keep going.
And terrorizing. We got Big Show with Jimmy Hart. Apparently, this is him practicing his rap battle skills.
Did you say Big Show?
Yes.
That was the Giant, sir.
Same thing.
No.
Paul White.
That is the Giant.
Paul White
address
is backstage
him properly. As much as I tell you, you will introduce me properly. You will introduce the Giant properly.
I refuse to perpetuate the belief that this is Andre the Giant's son. The Giant died the day he fell off the building. It is Paul White. Paul White is backstage with Jimmy Hart. You're moving. You're moving. Very subtly, but you're moving, Travis.
Oh, man. I'm too drunk to hold my laughs. But anyway, keep going.
It's like he's like doing this rhyme thing. It's like he's practicing for his John Cena battle, but like battle rap, but like 20 years earlier.
He's ahead of his time.
I still don't understand why he hates the Loch Ness. Loch Ness cuts a promo that's terrible. Heavy Scottish accent.
Loch Ness hit him in the face.
Best part about this was me and Gene said some shit about the Loch Ness's teeth that made me crack up. Because Gene's the shit. I love when he takes little jabs at the people he's interviewing. It's fantastic. Boy. Then we have Medusa versus Colonel Parker.
Because why not? Why not?
Here's my issue. What's your
issue, Matt?
They made Medusa. I don't know if they made her, but she's acting like she's never wrestled a match before, which we all know she has. She hits a body slam. She starts freaking out and cheering like it's the first body slam she's ever hit. She hits a drop kick.
But she did it on Colonel Parker. She did it on a guy.
Dick Slater gives the assist. Parker's pin looked more like a forced BJ than anything else.
Is he better or worse than Heath Slater?
Who?
Dick Slater.
Because I love my wife, I'm going to say Heath Slater's better.
Oh, you're no fun. Keep going.
Then Hawk cutting a promo. I really think like this era of WCW is what inspired the Waterboy.
Why you say that?
In the Waterboy, we had the Giant.
Yes.
We had the Colonel, the teacher, much like Colonel Parker.
Something's wrong with his medulla oblongata. Yes.
And he talked about the medulla oblongata. Hawk did the medulla oblongata thing in his promo. Like, this movie is really where Adam Sandler got a lot of his material from motherfucking the Waterboy.
Tackling few.
Then, as we talked about, DDP and the Booty Man have a match. So apparently, DDP has lost everything now. He's lost money. He's lost Kimberly. He's lost his U.S. title. And this match is supposed to, for whatever reason, because he lost them to Johnny B. Bad. And they do subtly mention.
Of all people.
They do subtly mention
Marrow.
During commentary that Johnny B. Bad couldn't play with the big boys anymore. They make a reference to that, which is why the Booty Man's here. But he lost it all to Mark Marrow. And for whatever reason, the generous guy that, Johnny B. Bad is, he gives all of this, his girlfriend, the money and everything, to the Booty. It's DDP. Unfortunately, for arguably one of the greatest wrestlers ever in WCW, DDP loses to the Booty Man. He's not to a great start here. I don't know when Kimberly became the Booty Girl.
Me neither.
I love it.
Me neither.
I don't know when this match was set up because it wasn't on Nitro.
Maybe it must have been on Saturday night that we didn't watch because we don't have time for that shit.
And I don't know how Kimberly slapping DDP in full view of a referee is not a disqualification, but okay.
Same way, once again, that John Moxley DDTing somebody through a glass table is not a DQ. So it's whatever.
This wasn't on TNT. This was on pay-per-view. Can't blame TNT for this.
Well, if there's no rules on TNT, there's definitely no rules on pay-per-view.
Giant defeats the Loch Ness.
Because who cares?
Then we got the Road Warriors versus Sting and Booker T.
Sir, why are we still playing with this? Just get to the part that we all care about.
We got to talk about everything, Travis.
Do we really?
It's a Chicago street fight in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I will not ignore the fact that you cannot have a Chicago street fight if you're not in fucking Chicago.
I guess.
Just because two of the wrestlers are from Chicago. Like, this is a Tupelo street fight. Why would we not call every street fight a Chicago street fight if that's what we're going to do? The point is, it's a Chicago street fight in Chicago. It's a Nashville street fight in Nashville. It's a Tupelo street fight in Tupelo. You can't have motherfucking Sacramento street fight in goddamn Atlanta, Georgia. Like, that's not how it works.
I mean, I feel you, but I feel like it'd just be easier for everybody involved if we just don't give them, like, acknowledgement of their stupidity.
Also, Sting pile drives Hawk here, and he no-sells a pile driver.
Yeah, that was another one. I'm just like, yo, and it took so long to set up, too. It took so much time to set up that pile driver. But then he just pops right back up 5 seconds later. Like, why would you give all this time to setting up this pile driver if he was just going to no-sell it?
Granted, this is way before it happened, but this is the move that damn near ended Stone Cold Steve Austin's career and definitely shortened it. For real.
The difference here is he went down to his knees as opposed to Owen dropping on his ass and breaking somebody's neck.
And he sold that motherfucker. Like,
well, he no-sold it because that's the Road Warriors' way of life. That's just what they did. But for some reason, you think they're just the greatest tag team of all time. But whatever. We're going to move on. Go ahead.
That's part of the reason why they were the greatest tag team of all time, Travis.
Well, here's the thing.
Because they were just They were some bad motherfuckers.
Things and still found a way to win tag team titles in every organization they were a part of, and still dominate on every level, and still put on great matches.
So did the Road Warriors.
No, the Road Warriors just didn't sell shit. That's their thing. Well, go ahead.
Because there's some big bad Chicago motherfuckers.
So because people just don't.
It wasn't that they didn't know sold shit. It was just that no one was strong enough to hurt them, Travis, and that's why they were amazing.
Oh, like the Ultimate Warrior?
Correct. Not strong enough to hurt them.
So you're saying the Ultimate Warrior was one of the greatest of all time then?
No, why?
Because nobody could hurt him. Because he was just that big and strong.
I've never argued anything about Ultimate Warrior no selling. I've never had a problem with that. My issue with the Ultimate Warrior was he no sold for 3 minutes because he couldn't have a match longer than that because he blew himself up running down to the ring, and that he couldn't cut a concise promo that made any goddamn sense.
That was part of his. That was just part of his appeal
to you.
He was just intense. He was too intense for you.
Animal brawls backstage with Booker T. He gets jumped by Stevie Ray. Jimmy and Lex Luger are back there. They jump him too. They tie him up with tape to a pole and leave him there. Sting and Booker win.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get Harlem Heat versus Lex Luger and Sting. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't seen it, I don't know, but pretty sure Harlem Heat's going to walk out tag team champions for that match.
We don't know. We got to watch it and see.
All right, Travis. Doomsday Cage.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to pretend here. I'm not going to pretend this is good. This match was trash. It made no sense. There was no cohesiveness in this at all. How, first of all, they start off with the two of them fighting, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. And suddenly, because of some powder, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson are just out for forever. And they go down to the next level, and it becomes a 4-on-2 match. What? You got more? Rewind. Where do you want to go?
Let's explain to those listening at home who may not have seen this what they told us this match was supposed to be.
Tell them.
First off, there is a completely separate ring.
Yes.
With a 3-tiered cage. And this is not a cage you'd see today. This is literally just a cage with a mesh top, with another cage with a mesh top, with another cage with a mesh top. The Mega Powers are supposed to enter in the very top tier, defeat Flair and Arn Anderson to descend to the next tier, defeat them to ascend to the bottom tier, defeat their opponents there, and then escape the cage to win.
Mm-hmm.
None of that happens. They announce, as the bad guys are entering, they announce Debo and the Ultimate Solution, and they don't even fucking come out for the match.
Until the very end.
They announce them as entering, and then they're not even there.
Well, here's the best
I don't even know.
Go ahead.
They didn't beat Flair or Arn to get down to the second level.
I just knocked them down for a while so they can get through that trap door.
They can't even fucking walk, really, because this is not this is literally like a chain link floor.
Yeah.
It's mushy. This is like the shit that Mick Foley went through and almost died.
Yeah. But it was
but 3 stories up.
But it wasn't secure with like little zip ties.
No, it wasn't. So continue.
I don't even. Oh, so they gotta beat Flair and Arn Anderson, but then they get to the second tier where they gotta beat both the Faces of Fear, which is
Ming and
Barbarian, also Lex Luger, and who was there with Lex?
Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah. So 4 people. It was 4-on-2. They had to
3
fight.
1/4.
Listen, I'm gonna need you to stop slandering Kevin Sullivan. All right?
Why? Give me one good reason why I should stop slandering Kevin
because
Sullivan.
A lot of the greatness that was the NWO was because of Kevin Sullivan. All right?
How?
Because he was the one that books heat, and he was there throughout that entire run. Give him the credit where the credit is due. Stop disrespecting the Taskmaster. All right.
Nothing he did for the NWO negates what he did here with the Dungeon of Doom. So
it certainly does, because we just forget about the Dungeon of Doom shit. If you weren't watching this right now, you wouldn't even know this happened. So anyway,
it's something everyone chose to forget because it was so bad.
It sure was, but he gave us great shit with the NWO. So anyway,
I'm gonna need proof.
You'll get it. So as they're fighting, Kevin Sullivan and Lex Luger and the Ming and Barbarian, somehow Hulk Hogan has a chain, and he gets inside this other cage within the cage on the second floor, and he's able to shut the cage and chain it shut with the Ming and Barbarian on the outside, but somehow Randy Savage is in there with him, but also Kevin Sullivan and Lex Luger are in there with him, but just the Ming and Barbarian on the outside. And it took forever to chain that cage shut. This was all so bad. Then they get through this.
I stopped paying attention. I realized at some point, somehow, Ming and Barbarian got eliminated, and Hogan
They just closed the cage.
Well, no, because Hogan and Luger and Macho Man and Kevin Sullivan go down to the bottom floor and then out to the regular ring. There is a ring in the cage, and they left, and they go to the regular cage, and Ming and Barbarian just fucking disappear.
Yeah,
they don't come back.
They had a ring right there, but they go to the other ring. Why? Why do they do this?
Eventually, as they're brawling in that ring and by that ring, by the way, Hogan left Macho Man in that cage at first to wrestle 3-on-1. Abandoned his partner 3-on-1 to go down and fight one guy by himself because he's a piece of fucking shit.
I have never denied that Hogan is a piece of shit.
Eventually, Jimmy Hart shows up with Debo and the Ultimate Solution. Arn and Flair come back.
They don't really do anything, though.
Chair shots in WCW are fucking terrible. We stumble.
Oh, listen. Yes, chair shots are terrible, but they are nothing. They are nothing compared to frying pan shots. Why are there frying pans, man?
Because there's a booty man.
He hit him with the frying pan and broke the handle on the frying pan, Matt.
These are, I don't know where the fuck they got these frying pans, but these are gimmicked frying pans that like dent with one shot. They're made of fucking tinfoil or some shit, made a nice noise. He's bashing people with frying pans that the booty man supplied. He didn't get in there and help. He just showed up with frying pans and handed them off.
Well,
and
he
then
had to go back and fuck Kimberly.
Lex Luger tries to start handing out a prostate exam. The glove. He put on a glove.
Oh, the weighted glove.
Yeah. The only thing he was doing with that was fingering Kevin Sullivan's butthole. Like there was.
And the whole thing with him him supposedly trying to hit Hogan and then stopping and waiting for him to move out of the way and then hitting Sullivan.
Mm-hmm. So a few episodes back, I said I was going to do like the drizzling shits and the golden nuggets because you've constantly told me throughout the show that you've got to pluck the gold nuggets out from WCW. And I will say the stuff with the Road Warriors and Harlem Heat, golden nuggets.
Eddie Guerrero
and Conan match gold nugget. Steven Regal versus Fit Finlay, gold nugget.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, especially the Doomsday Cage, drizzling shit.
Oh, we're not even done. The best part of this is as they're leaving the cage, it seemed like Randy Savage forgot he was supposed to pin somebody and ran back in and did the pin, and then they left the cage.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do enjoy the character of the Booty Man. It's probably the best thing Brutus ever did.
Once again, you're picking out the shiniest turd in the pile.
So I'll give him that. But dude, this is all just so bad. All of it, every bit of it. It is.
But here's the thing, like I told you, coming up, you're gonna see a storyline that looks very familiar to you.
Travis, it's April. I gotta get to what, June, July?
No, May. You're gonna get to May, and things are gonna start to pick up. But however, in April, you're gonna see something that looks very familiar to you.
Okay.
That lines up with what happened recently on wrestling television.
Okay. So our next show through the next pay-per-view should start picking up a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is, guys, Travis loves bad shit. He will watch bad shit all day.
I really do. Because it's I look at it and I find it so funny.
I struggled so hard with this.
But
I do
Matt
not
doesn't enjoy it like I do.
And at all. Do not go back and watch this. Unless you want to torture yourself or unless you are a glutton for punishment.
Watch it. Watch it for what it is. Like, go into it knowing it's going to be bad. There are certain things that are bad that are just fun to watch because it's so bad.
I heard about the alliance to end Hulkamania, and I thought, this is amazing because I want nothing more than someone to end Hulkamania right now, forever.
The problem is, they never succeeded. You know what ended Hulkamania? Hulk Hogan ended Hulkamania. And then WCW was off to the races.
Because he is the cancer that Vince McMahon into his creation. The NWO.
Except it happened in WCW and then became the hottest heel in all of wrestling. But yeah.
Got any notes you want to back onto this?
Nope. I just love the fact that you watched this.
I don't.
I know you don't. And that makes me love it even more.
All right. You guys can find Travis on Twitter and Instagram.
Matt. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
I love you.
I know you do. At Sir Cussalott, that is at SIR_CUSSALOTT. You guys can find me on Twitter only at Matt Ritter. We are this close to 1,000 followers on Twitter. I appreciate it. Or at least I am. Go follow Travis too. He's all right. You guys can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/SmackingItRaw. This podcast, obviously, if you are watching it or you guys hear a clip of it on Twitter that I posted or you see a little preview of video, can be found on YouTube, but also on the Patreon. So if you guys get all caught up through episode 5, this episode, and you enjoy what we did here, you don't want to wait. $5. You guys go to our Patreon, donate $5, and you will get that next month's episode early, a month early, before it's available, before anyone else can hear it, and you will help Travis keep the light and internets on so that we can keep doing podcasts for you.
Also, this, may come out at a time where we're past all this, but right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and 3/4 of the people who are involved in Creation World are involved in an industry that is seriously affected by this coronavirus shit. So this may be our only source of income right now. So hop on the Patreon, support us there, buy some merch, whatever you can possibly do.
Because we know that you may also be affected and you may not have anything to give. But if you're not affected and you have a little money that you can help, it would be much appreciated for 3/4 of that podcast or the podcast group that we have here who could really use the boost.
Look at this face here. Look at this cute little doggy face.
He's got to eat.
He's got to eat. Look at his face. You want this poor little puppy to starve? Look at him. He's cute as fuck, ain't he? Make sure he has food.
I also pray to God that by the time this episode comes out, this whole thing's done and over with. But
so do I.
You guys can also follow The Creation World on Twitter and Instagram. That is TheCreatia World. You guys can follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. All of these places, you guys can find links to our Patreon, to our Teespring for merchandise, YouTube, and Pornhub, because Smackin' It Raw is the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. And Return to Wrestling is a subsidiary of that. And if you guys go to YouTube and you like these videos and you subscribe to us and you let us know you like these videos, I promise you I can get a cool logo made for Return to Wrestling, just like I did for Smackin' It Raw. And we can probably get some Return to Wrestling t-shirts out there. But you guys got to show us that there's a want for it, that there's a love for it, that you guys enjoy it. We can't just make shit to make shit. We got to know there's a demand, and then we will supply.
Capitalism.
For Sir Cussalott, Travis Pointer, I am the Warden, Matt Ritter. This is Return to Wrestling. We will see you next month.
Peace.